Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. And you see by this title, you see what this episode is going to be about. We finna have a paperwork party. So let's get into these cases. Now it's snitches in every gang, every city, every state, and even in every country. So this isn't just a Sac thing. But with this episode, we talking strictly about Sac rap snitches and rap affiliates that snitch. Now I'm not the type to put snitch on anybody's name unless I got proof. So what you're seeing in this episode will be straight facts. Now Sacramento is a real gang-filled city with several Blood, Crips, Nortes, and even a few Serrano gangs operating out of several sides of Sacramento. Now I'm going to start off with the south side of Sacramento, known as Iraq, or just South Sac. This area is a big area in the city with many different gangs. One of the most known gangs in the city and in South Sac is the Medavie Bloods, a gang that has been active since the 80s and one of the most prominent gangs in Sacramento for decades. The Medavie Bloods claim two main cliques, 6900 and 665, and have numerous younger cliques under that umbrella. Medavie was already known in the Sac streets, but by 2018, Medavie would start to gain buzz off several rappers putting on for the area and starting to get noticed around the world. Medavie had rappers like G-Man, who was doing millions of views, and he even did a collab tape with now deceased rapper Briss. But you also had a lot of other rappers from Medavie, like 10 Letter Gang J and 10 Letter Gang Trap. Now 10 Letter Gang Trap would start making noise around 2019. He would collab on a few songs with other rappers from his hood, but he got a local buzz with the song From the 10, which sits at over 400k views. Trap before rap was in the streets and did a bit in jail, so he started rapping once he got out and started gaining a local buzz. Trap became a known face, but not too long after his local fame started coming, two things would come out to tarnish his name in the streets. First off, let's get into his snitch allegations. Now word on the streets was that Trap's real name, Tegan Scott, was a snitch after an incident happened over alleged robbery. So off this paperwork I'm about to present to you, you let me know if he a snitch or not. Now from this paperwork, you can see the whole time, Trap keeps pleading his innocence, saying he didn't do anything, and the crime occurred in Yuba City, which is about 50 minutes to an hour away from Sac. From the paperwork, Trap says him and another man drove there because the man sells weed and was going to sell a pound to somebody. Now along off this, would y'all consider that snitching? Cause everyone in the streets put rat on him after this. Make matters worse for Trap, a video I can't post cause of YouTube guidelines will come out, and let's just say, Trap must have been a real fan favorite in prison cause a sex tape would come out with him and his baby mama, and let's just say, man, she had that boy bent over, putting her fingers up him, and she ate the groceries. So along with snitch allegations, he was facing gay ones as well. This made Trap fade away in obscurity, and so did his career. And he would be dissed by enemy rappers from Oak Park. 3G would diss Trap in a song called Alive Ops, where he would say Trap was gay and got his booty ate. Trap will forever go down with a bad name in the streets off this. Now the next rapper from Medavie I'm gonna talk about is 10 Letter Gang J. He wasn't necessarily getting millions of views, but some of his videos sit in the 6-figure range. Now he was known for his flashiness, his persona on social media, and being popular in the streets. Jay had been rapping for a while, but his career was plagued by several stints in jail. He rapped Medavie hard as well, and often collabed with a lot of rappers from the area. He would be doing jail stints for gun possessions and intent to sell them, but he always somehow got out, and Jay always got out fast, even though some of the cases he was facing was Fed cases. So it would be a lot of speculation over the years that 10 Letter J, real name James Sykes, was a snitch, but with him catching another case, it was later brought to light. 10 Letter J was an informant, and from this paperwork, you can see it said James was a confidential informant for the ATF and was cooperating for leniency on his cases. Now 10 Letter J is now currently in jail right now, but you could say his career is over in the streets, and maybe his rap career is over after this as well. Now the last rapper from South Sac and Medavie I'm gonna talk about is 10 Letter Gang Raider. Now Raider will blow up with the song from 2018, Wiggle Through Your Section, which currently sits at 3 million views. He would drop a few other songs, but none would do the same numbers as Wiggle Through Your Section, and him going to jail several times, he wasn't able to reach the same level as he was going to. Raider would do a lot of stints in jail, and even getting out of jail, of all places, he would be stabbed at a water park.
The Roseville Police Department says a search is on for a suspect after a man was taken to the hospital following a stabbing at the Sunsplash Water Park on Taylor Road in Roseville. Roseville police said a call came in of an assault around 7 o'clock yesterday evening. Officials say an adult male victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Anyone with information is asked to call the Roseville Police Department at 916.
Even Raider's little brother, Little Raider, would get snitch allegations and would go under the radar. Once released after another stint in jail, Raider would drop a diss song called Raider Free, where he would diss the Heights, which is a North Sac gang, which South Sac gangs were once cool with, but some of the gangs got tension now with each other. Now after this, popular Heights rapper D Steez will respond to his own song called Campaign Steez, 72 Hours, which he would go at Raider hard and expose him, calling him a snitch and dropping Raider's paperwork. In his paperwork, Raider's real name, Rashid Reed, would say that a man named Jeremiah robbed a person, and Raider would say he was telling him to stop the whole time. So clearly off this, you can see Raider snitch. He was a juvenile in this case, but he was in the streets, so that's still snitching. Raider still denies snitching, but as you can see, it's clear that he did it. Now that's all I'm gonna mention from South Sac, but let's get into another region of Sac called Oak Park. Now Oak Park are rivals to numerous South Sac gangs and been around since the 80s, and is known as one of the biggest and deadliest gangs in Sac. And just like everywhere else, they got snitches. Now Haiti Faye would come up under Mozzie and be attached to Mozzie, and Mozzie would help out his career. He would start to gain a buzz around 2020 and was known for his diss songs, and also being dissed by several other ops like CML. Now his paperwork will later come out against him. Faye's real name, Faye John McClellan, would get into a shootout. He would be questioned by the police, which he told them he had a gun pointed at him, and he also said it was a video of the altercation. He would tell the police that he also would not identify who did it, but he could tell the police that there was a video of it. So would y'all take this as a snitch, or that he didn't snitch? But whether if he did or not, his reputation was ruined after this paperwork dropped. Faye would even be dissed in several songs by his enemies, and they would call him a snitch. Haiti Faye's career would go down after this, and you wouldn't see new music or him around his old crowd of homies no more. If you know the Sac rap scene, you heard of B.O.E., a younger rap crew from Oak Park that blew up around 2017, with the rapper B.O.E. Sosa being the face of the crew and also the main rapper. He was also co-signed by Mozzie, and him and his crew will have a wave in Sac out of Point and in other places. Now B.O.E. rappers, B.O.E. Sosa and B.O.E. Mumu, have been known for more of their disrespectful lyrics and songs and their antics on social media. B.O.E. has much more members than that though. That brings me to B.O.E. 6-0. 6-0 has been rapping on and off for several years, but was never that consistent. But he has always been a loved and always a respected member in B.O.E. So I guess that's why even though he snitched, B.O.E. still accepts him. Now B.O.E. 6-0, real name, Deshaun Walker, was picked up by police June 2nd, 2017. He was picked up for stealing the car, and in his paperwork, he would tell the police that he was a B.O.E. member and he was from Oak Park, along with 15 to 20 of his friends. So 6-0 would tell the police that his friend Martin told him and several others where the cars were to steal, and 6-0 then told police that Martin had stole a car 2 days prior, and he kept on going as you can see. So even though B.O.E. 6-0 clearly snitched, B.O.E. kept 6-0 around, and he's still around the same crew like nothing happened, still dropping music and hanging out with B.O.E. in Oak Park. And if you see the video of B.O.E. Mumu and B.O.E. Sosa pulling up to Nightingale in Stockton to make fun of E.B.K. Osama's death, B.O.E. 6-0 was clearly right there hanging out with them. Now, a generation before the other two rappers I mentioned in Oak Park, you had people like Little Nick, Mozzie, and Poppy Chulo. Now, Poppy was a well-known rapper in Oak Park, and him and Mozzie around 2012 and 2013 were often doing music together. It was heavy in the streets. Poppy, real name Daniel Bush, and Little Rob, real name Robert Haynes, went to a party in South Sac, which is an enemy territory. At the party, they were running to enemies, which led to Rob and Poppy being shot at, which Rob would die from the shooting. Mozzie has often mentioned Rob in several songs, but Poppy was later questioned about the shooting, and he told everything. He completely snitched. Poppy told police a man named Dick shot Rob, which Dick was from South Sac. Poppy would even say he didn't want to shoot Dick for revenge, but instead wanted Dick to go to jail. Rob died in 2008, but Poppy was still around and still doing music in Oak Park up until 2014, where he was arrested for pimping, and Poppy was just released after doing over a decade behind bars. Dick, who killed Rob, was a minor during that shooting. Dick was released not too long ago, but off this, you can see Poppy is a snitch. Now lastly, I'm gonna talk about an OG from Oak Park. He's not a rapper, but he's heavily known as being a Mozzie affiliate, named Gangster Jeff. Mozzie mentions him and credits him a lot, but Jeff's real name, Jeffrey Connor, is a snitch. So let's get into this paperwork. Now the paperwork was internal beef in Oak Park back in the day. Now in the paperwork, Jeff says 2 Oak Park men were shooting at him and they shot another member named Peg, which he would say he returned fire. Jeff would then go on to describe the man shooting at him and the weapons they used to shoot at him. To make matters worse, Jeff then proceeded to tell the police he could take them to the shooter's home, which by the paperwork, he did, giving the police the address. And even with this paperwork, Jeff still appeared to be around Oak Park and hasn't been kicked off. And this incident is from at least 20 years ago. Now we covered some people from South Sac and Oak Park, but now let's go to East Sac. Now the politics in the last 10 years have changed a lot in East Sac. Back in the day, the East was united as one, claiming Eastside Power Rule, with just several blocks repping under one umbrella. But with the music and connections, East Sac put themselves in the beef they wasn't originally in. The East has 3 main areas, like Lincoln Village, you may know for rapper Sally Rue, who's a part of Mozzie, building a connection between Oak Park and the East. You also have White Rock, which has several young rappers from that area, which they also affiliate with Lincoln Village and Oak Park. But you also got Air It Out from the street called West Loma and East Sac. They once was affiliated with the rest of the East, but a fallout will happen, and this will lead to them affiliating with South Sac and several rappers from that area. You can also see Brisk rapping with Air It Out rappers. But just like the rest, the East has rap snitches too. Now CB was a female rapper from White Rock, and she gained a major buzz with her song, Knock It Off. The song currently sits at 12 million views on YouTube, but you guessed it, she also snitched. CB real name, Ariana Claiborne, along with a group of other people in the car, were pulled over by the police. Now in the paperwork, CB would say she wasn't going down for this, and asked the police did they ask Willie about the guns, a man who was also in the car. CB would then start snitching up a storm. She would tell the police that there was Willie guns, and she also would say that he shoved things under her seat. CB would say she knew it was Willie guns because she seen him with 2 guns a week prior to being pulled over. Then CB told the police, I don't want to go down for this. I have dreams, I care about my life. And as you can see, she wasn't made for the streets. She would later do time for a separate incident, but her career never recovered. But she's still dropping music currently, but not doing big numbers. Now Ayo Bub, a real controversial rapper from East Sac, many people have a lot of bad things to say about him, from his social media antics, and first thing starting off, many people call him a hood hopper. He was affiliated with White Rock and Lincoln Village, in Oak Park at a time, but later started affiliating with Air It Out and South Sac. But he got old videos on the internet of him dissing South Sac, so clearly stating he hood hopped. For a while, Ayo Bub had paperwork floating around and people talking about he was a snitch. But you know, the paperwork would come out, and you know I got it. Now this paperwork would come out when he was affiliated with the Mozzie side in Oak Park. He was arrested with an Oak Park member, and he would tell the police that the guy that he was with had a gun, and that he had nothing to do with the situation. I guess this might be the reason he switched sides, and he would go on a whole campaign dissing Oak Park, Lincoln Village, and dissing Sally Rue. But Ayo Bub would also start affiliating with EBK from Stockton, which he would get into a situation with him going to jail, which EBK Young Jock and the rest of the EBK members will call him a snitch. Ayo Bub has been called anything bad you can think of. He's been called things like crossdresser, with videos of him wearing dresses, and even wigs, and even a video of him getting beat up in San Diego for dissing Dago gangs. But Bub even has been called a snitch by the police.
Ayo Bub.
Ayo Bub.
Hey, but Bub was out here snitching, that's why he's free. Look at that gun we let him go with.
Oh! Oh, yeah!
Oh, no, he snitched. He snitched on who gave him.
Yeah!
We're gonna go pick up the 50 bucks from him.
Yeah! They said I snitched, gang.
Bub still claims that he's not a snitch.
In real life. But if I tell why they never go to jail and why I was in there the whole time, bro, stop playing. Rest in peace, GP. If I was telling, I would have been PC. I was mainline the whole time, running fades. I ain't turned down no fades.
Now it's snitches everywhere. But this was just a video about some Sac rap snitches. Off this, did everybody snitch to you? Or did some of these rappers get wrongly accused? Let me know in the comments. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.